All right. I think we good to go this time. I think we good to go this time. We gonna see how this goes. All right. So currently, right now, I'm live on YouTube and I'm on Instagram. If you following me on Instagram, so I'm setting it up like this because it would just serve me a whole lot better to go live in multiple places simultaneously versus having to do it at different aspects of time. Because I mean, let's be real. I don't have a whole lot of I don't have a whole lot of time. You feel me? So considering the fact that I do have 4 kids, we homeschool our kids. Well, at least they do school from home online. So, that makes it a little bit more difficult because the majority of our time goes to them. So it just helps me when I can go live in multiple places at more than once. So this is just a live Q&A. Really, I'm just kind of testing this out to see how it is. Um, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me or if y'all having any trouble hearing me. So let me know. Drop it in the comments. I can see all the comments. So, let me see. Let me pull up the chat. So, I just kind of wanted to get accustomed to this setup. So I had to kind of go live to do it. I feel like I'm lagging a little bit. So y'all let me know how it's going. All right, bet. So y'all can hear me. All right, so that's cool. So, last time we was here, when we talked live here on Instagram, it was kind of a live kind of Q&A type of thing. So, what kind of topics y'all want to talk about? It's a lot that's been going on in the news, as far as just a lot of different things happening. So it's a lot of different talking points out there. So you know how that is. But let's see. You know how that can go. But what's on everybody's mind? What y'all got going on today? Or tonight, rather. How can we unite? Oh, man. I don't have the energy for that particular conversation, man. I don't know about how we can unite. And to be all honest with you, I don't know if we can focus on everybody uniting, bro. Like, it would take a drastic level event for everybody to truly really come together, because we're not a united set group of people. Even those of us who look alike, everybody ain't the same. So I don't know if it's everybody really have to be united, but maybe more so coming together on common issues and things of that nature. But I mean, I know what you mean, but it's kind of it's not really easy to do in this particular type of environment, as you will know, because we're not put in a position where honestly, most people even want to unite. Most people don't even want to unite. If we keeping it real, if we being honest, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I got asked a question on YouTube, something about hip hop. Let me find that comment real quick. Current state of hip hop, was that it? So, but aside from that, what topics we talking about? I started the Changeling. A lot of people was inboxing me about that show. I appreciate y'all, because y'all send me a lot of shows and movies and whatnot, because y'all know that's really my thing. And I'm feeling the show so far. I'm curious to see how it's gonna go. This is my first time seeing it. I never saw the movie from before, so I didn't want to watch. I'd rather just stick this out and see how this depiction turns out. Everybody can still hear me? We still good? And let me know if we still good. So I have a upcoming video drop that's coming real soon, because I've been talking about thought forms and the power of thought forms, and y'all know that's kind of my major thing that we talk about when we get to talking about the power of the mind, understanding your thoughts, and the power that you have in controlling your reality based on the thoughts that you have. So based on the thoughts that you have, a lot of times we don't realize that we're creating thought forms. And what I mean when I say thought form is you're giving so much energy to particular thought patterns or to repeated specific type of thoughts that you are giving them form, like actual physical form. They are taking shape and form and are able to move and impact in the physical world because you've given so much of your energy to it. You pretty much fed it. You pretty much created it. And this is we naturally do this. I put up a post today on Instagram, and it's a clip of Brother Panic talking, and he's expounding on how everything is magical that we do, but we just don't understand. See what this is, and a lot of people had stuff to say in the comments because some of the things he was saying, like your pants sagging. But the point of what he was trying to say was it's all about your perception of what you're dealing with. Because once you can understand that, just think about it in terms of old ancient times. If a group of people just embark on your ancestors, come upon your ancestors, and don't understand nothing that they doing or how they are able to bring into fruition anything that they create in the simplest of forms, is magic. That's all he was really trying to say. When we take lemon and make lemonade, when we take our pain and we make it into something else, that's magic. It's the basis of magic. It's alchemy. The problem is, in my opinion, we have these over romanticized or over fantasized idea, or this little box that of what magic has to be or what it is. And I think that's really the problem, because if you just gonna box it into it's just only this, you don't understand. You're not gonna see no magic in your life, because you only gonna see what you believe anyway. It's important to understand what you believe. A lot of people in the conscious community love to, be on the, I'm a knower, and I get it. But you gotta understand what belief is in terms of magic and in terms of your mind. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just about perspective. It's just about looking at it in terms of what they don't understand about you and how you can create is magical. You understand? So, that's just like I tell people all the time. Hip hop is our modern day pyramids. Why do I say that? Because that's what we had, and that's what we made out of our nothing. If you really want to go back to how it was created, how it came into being, what it was born out of, then you can get what I'm saying. It's how we can build something magnormous that the whole world can emulate, and we created it out of nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Literally out of nothing. It just came out of here, and we brought it into this world, and boom, the whole world just wants to gravitate to it. And if you don't understand, right, you gotta know and recognize that when it comes to the conscious community, specifically the black conscious community, you have to talk to the black conscious community a specific way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I say this as a black person, a part of the black conscious community, or having dealt with it. You have to understand that can't nobody outside of us understand what we go through. They can't understand what we come from. So every time you want to bend yourself to be made to be understood by this Western world, that's you're killing your own magic. You're killing your own magic because you're not being yourself. And to me, I always say it's turning down your blackness. I have a problem with being in certain environments and in certain situations and certain circumstances because I refuse to turn my blackness down. That's what I call it in my eyes. To me, it's turning down my blackness because it means I can't be my authentic self in this environment. I have to cover up some form of myself. You know what I'm saying? Because our passion can be seen as we angry or so many different things because blackness is weaponized. Now, I don't really want to get all into in depth in that particular type of conversation, but just to reiterate or to shed to light or bring to light on that particular post, because there's a lot of engagement on that post, and I know that too. When you put them type of posts, always gonna get that type of engagement, just like the post about the dude talking about the Moors. It's always gonna get that particular type of engagement because it's triggering to the foundation of what people know and believe to be true. So when you challenge people's beliefs, you might as well be challenging the whole core of their identity. That's why people get so triggered and get so bothered when you call out certain things about their traditions or their religions or their belief, which is why I don't really care to do it. You feel me? Because everything isn't for everybody. And at the end of the day, everybody not going to get this anyway. And that's okay. I'm at a point in my journey where I understand that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, like everybody is where they are supposed to be. You exactly where you supposed to be. Even if a person in prison, I know we don't want to hear that, but it's true. You are exactly where you are supposed to be in your life. You just have to adapt the perception to understand your reality. That's really all it really boils down to. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, everything go back to the mind. So one of the main things that I reiterate on all the time is the mind, because it's your mindset. Your mindset is the setting of your story. So is your environment conducive to what you're trying to do? Is your mindset conducive for what you're trying to grow, what you're trying to build? Because the mindset is the setting. In your story, the setting is where everything takes place. It's the environment. And if you know occult and if you know magic, your setting, your environment is very important to your ritual. It's very important to what's going on. You got to remember, the world is a stage. We just out here playing roles. So you have to ask yourself if you in the main stage or if you playing a role on the sidelines. The choice is really up to you if you willing to own your story. See, when you own your story, you become the authority of your life. You the author of your story. So that allows you to take control over where you taking your story. So what type of genre you living in? Is this a horror movie? You feel me? Are you living in a comedy? I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to push myself into a fantasy. You feel me? This shit is finna be a fantasy for me because I gotta create the life that I want. It's not, nobody is gonna do it for me. And that's something that's a bridge we all have to cross when you walking on this path. Ain't nobody gonna give you the life that you desire or that you really see for yourself in your mind, because you have to create it. Nobody else is gonna create it. If you waiting for somebody else, that's just somebody gonna plug you into their movie. You just gonna be an extra in somebody else's movie. And it's not about how big a thing you do. You don't have to do something big or huge or on a grand scale. That's not really what it's about. It's just about what it means for you in here. So, peace, champ. Peace, champ. How you doing? Thanks for joining the live. Appreciate you for joining the live. So, I have a video that I'm uploading later this week to further continue the video that I just put up a few days ago on the thought forums. What are you creating? Because it's important to understand the power of your thoughts. So if you constantly all the time thinking about how stressed you are, thinking about how bad these bills are, right? If you constantly feeding them thoughts, you're giving them thoughts form. So more and more and more, you bringing more and more and more of that shit right back to you. You get what I'm saying? So it's important to evaluate the mindset. It's important to evaluate the mindset. Now, let's see what else been happening. What's been going on? Now, if y'all don't know, who saw the thing on Polite, on Brother Polite? Y'all know I don't talk about people in the conscious community, but I can't not talk about this one. You know, so who seen the thing on Polite? Because that's a very interesting thing there. Because as a person, so I'm gonna tell y'all, me and my husband, me and O, we've been going to lectures all over the conscious circuit. I would say since 2010. So it's 2023. So I would say the past 13 years. So we've, seen and met your Brother Polites, your Dr. Umars, I met pretty much most of these people, that you see out here. And it didn't take us long to remove ourselves from those events, from those environments, because it all felt too familiar. It all felt like the same thing over again in when I left church. It's always kind of wild to me how you find a lot of people get successful or what looks like success or notoriety, and they start to market to you like rappers. That's a red flag to me. When people are marketing to you when it's supposed to be a spiritual lifestyle, but they marketing to you like rappers. Because rappers live and make money off of the world of illusion. Everything is illusionary when it comes to the entertainment world, specifically the hip-hop world. These artists, right, they have deals and all these things at play, and it's these corporations and these record labels and these people's job to make these people look rich, to make you want their mundane physical lifestyle. That's what they market to the public. That's what they market to the youth. That's why the youth gravitates to them, because they want that lifestyle. Look at it. There's fancy cars, expensive cars, big house. It's the life of your dreams. Fast money, quick money. They holding up money like this, and it's always this money environment. And Instagram is the world of illusion. I say all the time, social media is a whole nother dimension. That shit is a whole nother dimension. So everything on Instagram is a fucking highlight reel. You understand? It's a highlight reel. It's not real life. It's not what's going on behind closed doors. It's only what I want you to see. It's only what I need you to see pertaining to my image, pertaining to my brand. Because this is an illusion that I have to uphold for you, so that you can maintain this idea of what you see this persona to be. Even me, I do it. I don't like to put a lot of personal shit on there. So when I be going through shit, I don't like to put that on there. Even though I'm not doing it in a sense of I'm trying to portray a particular image, I'm more so just doing the shit because I'm really not the type of person to want to be talking about my help that I need to strangers on the internet. I'm not finna do that. You know what I'm saying? But the internet, social media, is the world of illusion. So you have people comparing their lives to a highlight reel. So you going through all this hell and shit that you going through, and you're looking over here at this person's post, this person's, assuming what you think is these people's life, and you comparing yourself to it. And comparison is a thief of joy. You're not going to be able to do nothing with yourself comparing yourself to an illusion. Because you got to realize, anybody can go rent a car. Hell, you can get on Turo and get you a fancy ass car and take a bunch of pictures for 2 hours or something, or do whatever you going to do. You can go Airbnb at a house, a mansion. You can portray, or you can pretend anything you want to when it comes to the internet. Because you got to remember, this is social media. The media is illusion. We got to remember that's based on the goddess of illusion out of the Greek mythology. That's literally what it's named after. If you say American gods, you know, the newer gods, technology, media, these are newer forms of worship that we use because we pour so much energy into it. So we pour all this energy into it. But this is nothing but illusion. So when you see people who's supposed to be appealing to your soul path, your soul growth, knowledge of your inner world, what the fuck do that got to do with the outer world? You feel what I'm saying? That don't have nothing to do with it. I mean, granted, we can say, you know, you've taken a lot of your knowledge or whatever and you can make it into that, but that's not what that's only for. You feel what I'm saying? That's not what it's all about. But at the same time, you have people who don't even really validate people in their mind unless they have those particular type of successes of monetary value, the fancy cars, the jewelry, the designer clothes and all of that. So some people don't even find validity in what somebody's saying unless they see that success. So you are asking to be fooled by illusion. You are asking for somebody to scam you because you are looking at physical monetary things as a means of how you're going to value this person's information or what this person has to give to you. And you wonder why people get scammed so bad. And they still continue to support the scammers. Bro, Polite had mad videos saying charges was dropped. And I'm like, I thought I was crazy for a second. Because I was like, how in the world is... How now, I know we look like mad people is sitting here putting up this whole thing with your sentencing, but you know, hey, this is the world that we live in today in 2023. We live in a world of illusion, yo. And when people are just fascinated, with that, then that's what you're gonna get taken by. You're gonna get fooled by the illusion, yo. You're gonna get played because of the illusion, because in your mind that's what is valid, that's what is valid, or that's what you give somebody validity based off of. But it really isn't. You really asking for somebody to play you. But you know, that's just my synopsis, because you know, I don't know, man. I don't really want to I'm not the type to want to talk too much about other people to be getting my point across, but I'm pretty sure y'all can see what I'm saying, you know. But yeah, man, I left that conscious circle a long time ago, man, because you know, we was so into it. We was driving, we was going to different states, we was going different places to meet people, to go literally sit one-on-one. Hey, teach me. That's how we was. So yeah, we met a lot of people. I ain't gotta call out a whole lot of names, but we done met a lot of people, you know, in those terms that deal with the knowledge and the information. But again, it's always the same thing, man. We see people, and it's wild how it's all these things got to do with kids, bro. I just don't know, man. It's something real iffy. It's something real just iffy about that. I don't know, man, but it's real iffy, yo. It's real iffy. You know what I'm saying? Like, even people who didn't really get to the level of blowing up, man. It's people that I met along the way and I knew for years, bro. And then it was like, they in prison for child molestation. And it's like, what? It's like, yo, what is that? But again, Polite has told y'all many a times who his teacher is. He has told y'all many a times who his teacher is. He done told y'all many times, and there's many people that still follow, that still, you know, it is what it is, man, because we don't get out of religion. We don't get out of religion. We don't realize that most of the time people leave church, but they don't understand that they still want to worship. They still want to follow. So they still find something else that they can worship and follow, just like they did the church, or just like they did at the mosque. And I'm not knocking it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking it, because everybody is where they supposed to be in their life. But for those of us who get it, we just get it. You feel me? We just get it. And it's not for everybody to get all the time. But you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? You got to have discernment. That's just like people be making the fake pages, and then they'll DM people and say, I have a message to you from the ancestors. No, they don't. Why do y'all believe this, yo? Why do y'all believe that? Why would your ancestors go to a stranger and have them to DM you, yo? Just think about this, yo. We have to think about things like this. You feel me? But like I said, a lot of people aren't really at that level, at that initiate level, man. They really just still religious. They just want something that looks like them. And I can understand that too. Grant, I can understand that too. Which is why I'm like, hey, I don't really knock it. I'm not knocking it. Just don't come pushing that on me and we good to go. Just don't come trying to tell me about what I'm doing. You feel me? Because most of the people who want to do that have never looked outside of what they believe themselves. You feel me? Like, it's always funny to me when people be like, well, you know, such and such, this is demonic. And I be like, well, what's a demon? What's demonic? What makes something demonic? They don't know. You feel? They don't know. It's just outside of their box of understanding. And anything outside of it is supposed to be that, because that's the programming. You can't get mad at a baby for being a baby, yo. Like, you can't get mad at that. And if you do, and if you are, then you still have a lot of work to do on yourself. Because we not doing this for anybody else. You supposed to be saving yourself. That's the ego death, is realizing you can't save nobody but yourself. You gotta let that ego die, because ain't nobody, we not really here to save the people. I don't believe that. That ain't nothing I seen never said that nowhere in no ancient nothing. It never said that we have to say. It never says that. It just be teaching you about how you supposed to die. That's literally so you don't have to come back here no more. It's all that ancient knowledge is about. It's spirit soul knowledge. It ain't about being applied to. Well, it ain't about that. It ain't really about that. You feel me? So, but you know, you just gotta be careful, because I mean, if they can scam you, if people can scam you, bro, they gonna scam you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and oh man, the thing about it is, you know, a person like me. You know, people like me, genuine people, is really harder for us. It's really harder for genuine people that's genuinely just love this, just love this knowledge, just love to build, just love to build a community just off of this knowledge. Just the exchange in itself, yo, can be healing. Just whenever I can talk to people about these topics, man, it always lifts my spirits. I could be going through some bad stuff. I could have a lot going on. And I could have that type of exchange with somebody, and don't nothing else matter. It just completely lifts my spirits. But it's harder for people like us, because a lot of people get into this, right? And it's straight ego. It's straight ego. It's straight money. It ain't nothing wrong with getting your money. You gotta get your money. Trust me, you gotta get your money. But some people are in this for the money, because a lot of people are gullible. Because a lot of people are need healing. A lot of people are hurt people, and they honestly know how to manipulate it. They know how to do it. They're charlatans, man. Like pastors, pimps, preachers, you know, your conscious teachers. All that is the same type of energy. So you got to be careful. So even in me, I have to know that for myself. I always got to check my ego. I always have to check and make sure what's my intention for doing this. Every time you have to, because if you don't, especially if you are starting to get money, because that money can really go to your head. It can really, and when they say go to your head, it can flame your ego. It can really flame your ego, because money is nothing but a multiplier. It's only going to show you more of who a person is. That's it. If a person don't have a good heart, if they get a lot of money, they really going to be able to show you they ain't got a good heart. They just gonna show you that, because that's the money and the power. money gives this feeling of power. You know, that's the world we live in. And we live in a society that makes it hard to be spirit based. Like, it's hard to be spirit based and you don't have a flow of money. You don't got a flow of income. It's hard. It's hard out here because the cost of living is constantly going up. You gotta pay for water. You have to pay for everything that you gotta pay for everything. So in that sense, you can find yourself at odds with yourself a lot of times because damn, you do have to survive. Yep. Because you do have to survive. So, I try to stay out of talking about other people, things in that particular type of way. I don't really want to talk down on nobody, that ain't really my style. But, hey, it's a common theme right now within the community. We're seeing a lot of things around, scam artists, around charlatans. So, and that's always, you got to be careful with that because there's always going to be the people that's a part of the main herd that will put that on people who are out trying to give the truth as well. So, you just got to practice discernment at the end of the day. That's really all it boils down to, is you got to practice discernment. So, yeah. I thought I'd bring that up in terms of that going on here lately. Oh, I found the question. The state of hip hop and what these artists are promoting. Gladiator of the spoken word. Well, hip hop is it's a business. It's taken over by the rap business. Hip hop is the art, but it's suppressed by the rap business. And what I mean by that is I'm not gonna say nobody, but most of your mainstream popular rappers don't care about the art. They care about the money. So when you care about the money, it's just about getting the money. So you do what gets the money. So we saw Meek Mill come out and he said, artists get paid more to rap to you about certain things. Which I would say he's partially correct. Because that comes back, some of that fault or that blame falls on us, and that's because niggas is out here for sale. Just to be for real. Now, aside from that, it's in some ways, man, it's like it's the same thing with the internet. People will do anything for the clout, and it's because they monetize it. You make monetary means from it. You create some people have a whole cash flow off of just talking about, just talking about things, or just talking about specific type of people, or just providing specific type of insight, even like I'm doing right now. So in that sense, when it comes to hip hop, what is popularized at this point, you got to remember, hip hop or rap is the soundtrack to criminality. So because that's the case, or because that's the narrative that's at play, I'm not saying that's what it was born for or what it came out of, but because that's the narrative, and because the machine that puts the money into these artists to be in front of your face want to promote that's what you see. Then that's why you see what you see, because they put millions of dollars behind these artists to be big artists. They not big artists just because they're talented. It's not about talent. It's not about talent at all. They are this because of how listen, all these people have handlers, man. So how susceptible or how easy is it, right, to impact these young minds of these young rappers? They don't want rappers typically over the age of 25. Newer artists. Why you think that is? It's because they're more easier to influence, to control. So that's why you have handlers. They ain't called handlers. Sometimes they recognize that they handlers, but they ain't always called handlers. Sometimes they're managers in some way, shape, or form, and they are made to believe that these are certain particular things that they gotta do. And so you gotta think about it. It's the mind control. We talked about the mind control. It's different forms of mind control. Anything that's gonna impact your mind is a form of mind control, subtly impacting you so that you can have impressions impressed upon you. So whether that's food, whether that's drugs, whether that's alcohol, whether that's sex, whatever it is, they give you in abundance of that. You get it in overabundance of it. And it's just these artists, they're swayed to do certain things, man. I mean, it's not as much of a, it is a conspiracy, but it's not a conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? It is, but it's not. It's really common sense. It's mostly common sense, yo. It's mostly common sense. Just think about it, yo. Some of these guys, some of these kids, they're young, 20 years old. Some of them never had nothing going for them their whole life. Imagine if you don't have nobody in your life that love you. Imagine if ain't nobody in your life that love you. Imagine if there's nobody there trying to help you to get to a better life of any way, shape, or form. What are you going to do? What options do you have? What's left for you? Now, I'm not saying that that these guys are victims. But what I'm saying is, it's more to the story. It's a whole lot more variables than we want to take into account. Because whether we want to admit it or not, poverty is fucking traumatizing. It's traumatizing. It is traumatizing. Why these people do what they do? Why do people be lying on the internet? Why do people be scammed? Why do people do what they do? Because poverty is traumatizing. That's why. That's it. That's the only reason. That's the main reason. Don't nobody want to go back. Don't nobody want to go back to where they came from. And when you get popular, whether it's infamous, whether you famous, or whether you dealing with infamy, that's attention. And in most people's eyes, because they ain't got no self-love, no self-healing anyway, that's love. They'll take the attention for love because they haven't been getting nothing their whole life. So if you've been getting nothing your whole life, you've been broke, you've been sleeping in cars, like you might have been on some homeboys couch, all you guys, the gang, you might be gang over here, but maybe you really ain't got some of these people don't got no parents, yo. Imagine if you went your whole life and you ain't had no parent to tell you they love you. Like, we have to, it's a bigger picture than we want to really look at, because it requires looking in the mirror too. It requires us looking at ourselves too. It requires us looking at our own environments too, because these kids would do anything to get out of these environments. They would do anything to get out of these environments. And honestly, the gangs take advantage of them too. The gangs get them in it first. They already done in by the gangs, if you want me to be honest with you. They already done in by the gangs. They be indebted to them gangs, man. Like, it's a lot to it. You just gotta, compassion and empathy is required. Compassion and empathy is required anytime we're talking about healing and dealing with these particular types of situations. But like I said, you gotta be willing to look at the whole picture. And it's not easy. It is not easy to look in the mirror. As a people, we don't want to look in the mirror. We don't want to. That's why it's so hard, because the level of self-hate is so high, and it's so subconsciously programmed that we don't even see it. We literally equate being black and blackness to criminality and negativity and toxicity, to the point where if you say something about it and say, hey, that ain't right, or we shouldn't do that, a lot of people will call you anti-black. So what do you do? What do you do? You can't win for losing. You can't win for losing. I do plan to save this. I do plan to save it. Exactly. Having parents and they still don't tell you they love you. Like, you got to understand. I'm going to tell y'all. I'm 36 years old. And most of my life growing up, I probably was a favorite. Like, everybody liked me, everybody, I was a good child. I made good grades. I had a lot going for me. I did what I was supposed to. Before I knew anything. Now. So I was doing everything accordingly. But when I got to a place where I woke up and I had to start living my life for me, it was different then. I ain't get that same support no more. I ain't get that same love no more. You feel me? And then I was like, it hurt me real bad. It took me time to get over it. Because in that moment, I realized, I was like, man, I can't imagine going my whole life like this. I can't imagine going my whole life and people telling me or talking down on my ideas, talking against me, talking bad about me, feeling like I can't do this and I can't do that. I couldn't imagine going my whole life like that. You feel me? Like, I can understand why they would drop out of school. I totally get it. I can even understand how some people can get on and never look back. I can get it, yo, because that hurts. But you got to be willing to acknowledge that hurt on the inside of you. Everybody don't want to do that, though. They don't want to acknowledge how much that shit hurt. They'll rather smoke it away, drink it away, screw it away, work it away, whatever they're gonna do. But just imagine it. And when I brought that into my perspective, I could have a whole lot more empathy for people. When people talk about, things that relate, yo, how many people been molested and abused? Like, how common that is, especially in the black community. Like, how much that happens to people. Like, that messes people up, yo. Like, they traumatized from that. For real. They traumatized. They a lot of times they don't know how to work through that. People just living through a lot of pain. They living through a lot of pain. They going through a lot of things. And sometimes, yo, you just got to have empathy for people. You just got to have empathy for people, man. You just got to have compassion, because you never know what the fuck somebody going through. You never know, yo. You never know. And me being a person that do consultations with people, that, talk to people who done been through some of the worst shit ever. Like, man, I can't help but have compassion for people. I can't help but have compassion for people, because I can understand, like, some people been through some things, man. They have. That's right. They will do anything to fill that void. They will do anything. And some people are way more sensitive than other people. So you have these hypersensitive types. Pardon my kids, y'all. So sometimes you have these hypersensitive types that go through this stuff, and you wonder how people end up on drugs bad, yo. Like, yo, they just want to escape. Like, people, what I'm saying? People are dealing with depression, suicidal thoughts, wanting to end their life. You know why? It's because they're dying to live. They are dying to live. Because we get tired of getting stuck in these roles that ain't us. But we don't know how to break out of them. We don't know how to break out of them. That it can be hard. It can feel like, man, if you ever been through something, yo, you know what I'm talking about. If you ever been through anything. Because I'm telling you, that's why I say, like, it ain't never, nobody don't have to humble you, yo. That's God's job. That's the universe job, because it's always gonna humble you. Because sometimes in order for you to go up, you gotta go down. Sometimes you gotta go up so you can, sometimes you gotta go down so you can go up. Y'all ever seen that movie, The Platform, on Netflix? Sometimes you gotta fucking go down so you can go up, yo. It's like a, like Jay said, every time I hit the ground, I bounce up like round ball. Because, like, the universe naturally is going to humble you. It's going to humiliate you. Because you have to be brought down to size in terms of humility. That's why nobody else can humble you. Only you have to accept in yourself to lower yourself. But you only really can lower yourself to a higher power. That's why it ain't never on another person. Anytime a person really saying that, most of the time, that's why I said what I said. Ain't nobody really saying that in terms of them having the authority to know your journey. They don't really know that. Most of the time that shit is coming from some jealousy. But inside yourself, you have to understand and know that you have to be humble to the Most High, to your highest self. You have to. And if you don't, you will learn to. Because you're not going to go any higher until you're willing to do that. It's just like if you want to jump real high, right? It's like jumping. You know how you might have to go down lower to jump higher. It's the same thing, yo. It's the same thing. But yep, like a slingshot. You gotta pull the slingshot back. That's how it works. So you gotta go down in order to come up. But so when people say, well, that's a humiliation ritual. It might be. But it might be coming from the universe, though. That the universe is the ultimate humiliator. Cause ain't that more ironic? Ain't nothing is more ironic than the universe, yo. Nothing gives you more irony than the universe. That's why iron is Fe, like feminine. Like the feminine, like the great feminine, the great mother, the feminine, the mother, feminine energy. Like everything is really interconnected like that. So man. You thought I was 21, 22. I know I got that youthful look, but yeah, I'm 36. So man, I've had my ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? I've had my ups and downs, and there's gonna be more ups and downs to come, especially when you own the path of self. If you own the path of self, understand your Kundalini heightens everything. Your Kundalini heighten everything. So if you really in this spiritual work, it ain't easy. It ain't supposed to be easy. It's like you on the hardest level. You on the hardest level out here. So it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. So that's something you gotta know, But just practice discernment. And at the end of the day, a lot, like I said, man, that compassion. And don't forget to be compassionate with yourself. A lot of times we're so hard on ourselves that we don't even realize how hard we're judging ourselves. Like, you can't help but be judging people the way you judging people, because you judge yourself. If you judge people a lot, it's because you judge yourself a lot. So look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Because that's what's happening. You judging yourself. So you got to stop judging yourself. You got to have some compassion for yourself, man. We out here dying of thirst. You're dying of thirst. You know that Kendrick Lamar, dying of thirst? You need some compassion, man. You need some grace with yourself. It's okay. It's all right. We all going to fall. We're going to stumble sometimes. We're going to stumble sometimes. That's the only way that you learn. You're only going to learn when you make a mistake. But you have to free yourself so you can make the mistake. Some of us won't even do anything because we don't want to even make the mistake. We don't give ourselves the freedom to make the mistake. We don't give ourselves the freedom to make the mistake. So ask yourself, how can you really truly create in the best form of yourself when you don't even give yourself the room to make a mistake? And in your mistake is where you're going to grow. You went to school. Think about it. If you get an answer wrong, then the whole process or the whole means of getting the answer or finding the answer or the solution is explained to you. But if you never do anything to even give an answer, right? How are you going to learn? How are you going to learn? You have to be willing to learn. The earth is a playing ground. The earth is a playing ground. We supposed to be out here learning. It's like a big ass classroom. You learning as a human being. You're on the level of human. You experiencing as a human. So you supposed to have feelings. You supposed to have emotions. Because it's helping you to deal with helping you through your experience. Helping you grow through your experience. So you have to experience different feelings. You have to do different things. Regardless if they are good or bad, it's the experience. That's what makes life worth living. You don't want to live life. If you didn't have death, you wouldn't want to live life. Think about it. When you lose somebody, how often, how many times is it's like, man, life is really short. We really don't have how much are you reminded when somebody dies? Because it's making you want to experience life. That's the whole point of it. Exactly. Starting with the man in the mirror. Exactly. And see, all this Virgo energy is pointing to that. That's what that Virgo energy is about. Virgo is not about no virgin. Virgo is not about no damn virgin. That's just some westernized shit to distract you. That's not what it's about. The Virgo is the alchemist. The Virgo represents alchemy. That's how it's embarking on the alchemy journey. That's why it's self-development. It's the personal development house. It's the health and wellness. It ain't got nothing to do with your career. It ain't about your career. It's about your work. It's about your work. Your work is in here. Your work is in here. It's your alchemy. It's you turning your lead into gold. It's you taking all these badass experiences that you done had and you learning and growing from it and becoming a better version of you. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's it. Yep, Virgo rules over the intestines. It's also connected to the nervous system. So you gotta think about it. What nerve run from here all the way to your gut? The vagus nerve. You have a whole nerve ganglion in your gut. That's why they say your gut is the first brain. And that's because that nerve ganglion in your gut is associated to your feelings. So when you first go in the room, you going to pick up on the vibes in the room, whether you know it or are aware of it or not. The first thing that's going to hit your electromagnetic grid is emotions. Your heart has the biggest electromagnetic field. So that's the first thing that's going to be affected, and then it's going to communicate to your brain. So depending on what's in your heart, has a lot to do with what you're going to perceive in your life. That's why you got to heal your heart. That's why the heart is the transformation center. That's why anytime if you Google Jesus, right? Just Google, because remember, we talking metaphorically. Jesus is a symbol. Jesus is just a symbol of Christ. But anytime if you was to Google Jesus and you go to images, you're going to see a glowing heart. And you're going to see a halo behind. Because Jesus represents that heart, that transformation. That's how you get compassion. Until you do that work on your heart, you ain't going to have the compassion you need. You're not going to have the compassion that you need. See, when you start at the root got to do with self-discovery. It got to do with self-love. It got to do with self-acceptance. So you got to start with the self. You got to start with your hell. You got to start with all the things that you hate and you want to push down about yourself. The things that you want to hide. You got to start there. You have to start there. It's not just about rising up. It's not just about rising up. You also command down. So you have to be rooted. It's a complete circle. It's like the Ouroboros. It's a complete circle. So it's not, you don't just rise up. It circles. It circles around. It rises up and circles. That's your Merkaba or your Merkaba or your chariot, your wheel of fire, Ezekiel's wheel, whatever you want to call it. Your spaceship, whatever you want to call it. All those things apply. That was the most important thing I learned on my journey. All these things be talking about the same thing. They just use different forms of terminology. Why? Because maybe some of them was in different regions. They had different languages. They had different things in nature to express it, depending on where they were. But damn, they telling the same message. They telling the same message. They telling the same message. So remember, which in terms of your chakras, your chakras spin, they go, you have to think about it like this. It's out, it's outward, it's inward, upward, and downward. So that's like your compass. That's like your compass. You feel me? So, your chakra body is your temple. So when they say, the temple of God is within you, it's not your body per se. It's what is housed within your body. It's what's housed within your body. Well, I'm not currently doing any live classes, but I do have a shadow work and astrology course, and I have a shadow work with numerology course. You can get them, the link in my bio, to get access to it. Or if you are on the Patreon, the whole course, everything, all the videos with the courses, all the resources and the books is also on the Patreon. So if you're on the Patreon, you can see it there, or you can just purchase it in the link in my bio. But those are the only 2 classes. I did those 2 classes last year. I will get into more classes. I'll keep y'all up to date on it. But right now, I'm just really focused on the Patreon. It's just a means of, just putting this information out there. You know what I'm saying? If y'all on the YouTube, because some of y'all watching right now on the Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, because I share a lot of info from the Patreon to the YouTube in a more longer form. So, y'all get with me up there. For sure, I will definitely let y'all know in terms of some classes. And you know what? Y'all shoot me some ideas on some classes that would be of interest. Some classes that y'all would be interested in also. The sacral chakra. Okay, well, in terms of the sacral, when you're dealing with the sacral chakra is mostly about your feelings, your emotions. That's why some connected with the moon. So in terms of your sacral chakra, that's connected to your reproductive gland. So the creativity, can be closely connected to the sexual energy. So people that's dealt with sexual trauma, a lot of times, has heavily impacted their sacral chakra. And so when you're dealing with the sacral chakra, you got to learn how to show up for yourself. That's the best means of healing with that sacral chakra. What I mean by showing up for yourself is your inner child, or like your inner self, or your emotional body. So whenever you're experiencing things, you just going on within your day, anything that happens, whenever you feel something within your body, showing up for yourself is acknowledging that feeling. It's like just taking a pause. Because you know how sometimes, you just might be in the middle of doing something, just out of nowhere, your heart just might start racing. Or something might happen. You might get some news and your heart might start racing. Or you might, feel something in your gut. So to show up for yourself is to pause and acknowledge you feel something. Because just that pause is you saying to yourself, within yourself, I see you. I'm not going to ignore you. And because remember, whatever you feel is always valid. Now, I'm not saying it ain't about it being right or wrong, but it's valid. Well, I will say this. It's always right. It's always correct. I will say that. It's always correct in what you feel. Now, listen. Let me elaborate on what I'm saying. You feel what you feel because whatever you feel is trying to teach you or trying to relay your truth to you. So sometimes these are ugly truths. Sometimes these are feelings that we don't want to acknowledge because we are afraid of what they may mean or what they may say about us. But you have to understand that everything that you feel, you don't have to act off what you feel. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to identify with something just because you feel something. Same thing with a thought. Because sometimes, especially if you're an empath, you can pick up on other people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you got strong psychic energy, you can pick up on other people's thoughts. Everything that you feel all the time is not necessarily saying that you have to act off of it, but you do have to take a moment and acknowledge it. You see what I'm saying? Because even if you are able to align and connect with somebody else, somewhere within you, you feel that truth. You can still feel that truth. Now, people a lot of times will want to deny that truth within themselves. That's why people will lash out when people, you ever seen people telling their truth about a situation or something, and then you see somebody get mad at them telling their own truth about something that hurt them? It's because something within them is not willing to accept that truth that person is speaking from. And you're going to deal with that a lot sometimes. You're going to deal with that sometimes because everybody hasn't reflected on themselves the way that you have. So you got to remember that a lot of times, especially, people going to be projecting on you. Remember that. They're going to project on you. So acknowledging, stopping and pausing, acknowledging what you feel is saying to yourself that I see you. It's acknowledging that I feel something, because your feelings are what makes you deal with this human experience. This is how you filter out this human experience. All right. So, and you want to be able to do this, because if you can't do it and you get the feeling stuff in yourself that you don't like, that's when people get emotional. People get emotional because they don't know how to deal with their feelings. You see what I'm saying? They can't, because it's something going on inside you. Don't nobody know what you feeling inside yourself. So when you start to act out a certain way, you acting this way because of what you feel in yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So you got I hear you out there. So you have to be able to process your feelings. It's like we was talking about with the anger thing. Like everybody was saying, anger is secondary. And it's only because it's the easiest thing for you to be able to grasp to be able to react. But it's not the truth. It ain't primary, yo. It's not the root. So it's not to say that you're not supposed to get mad. No, you're going to get mad sometimes. You're a human being. And depending on what it is, right? The point of the matter is, at some point, you got to be able to evaluate that anger. You got to be able to step back and be like, damn. Something about that is rooted in something deeper. And because if you don't deal with it, eventually it's going to deal with you. Because it's going to keep taking it to a level, to a point where you ain't got no choice but to deal with it. That's how sometimes situations can get so bad, and it just turns into some chaotic ass situation. You see people in a toxic relationship and they argue all the time. And you know this shit ain't going to turn out good. But they don't ever really address nothing until eventually the shit keep going and going until you get that energy just done compiled and done accumulated so much that it has to explode. That's what a full moon represents. That energy has to show itself. So then that's when you get some domestic dispute. Then you get a domestic violence event or some shit like that going on to bring this to its head. Because the energy been there. It was there all along. So, you know, it's all in being able to process within yourself. You feel me? Because this is, you make decisions all the time that's impacted by your feelings. So if you can't process your feelings, you're going to end up acting rash. You're going to act impulsively, do something that you're going to wish you didn't do, or something that's going to have consequences that you're going to regret later on, because you still haven't learned what you're supposed to learn. And that's because everything in this society is based on shit that ain't got nothing to do with what we really here for. Everything in society is about a bunch of bullshit. It's an illusion. So when people say this shit is an illusion, that's what they mean. None of this is real. None of those things are real that they are using to validate you on. Because when you die, none of it cannot go with you. None of your material possessions can go with you. None of that shit can go with you. But you know what go with you? Your damn knowledge. Your knowledge gonna go with you though. Your light gonna go with you though. So that is what is the most important thing you supposed to accumulate in this lifetime. Because that's like building your light body. It ain't about your physical successes, man. That's why it always burns me up when people be talking about black excellence, but they be basing black excellence on westernized, Europeanized views. That don't add up. That don't make sense. That doesn't make sense because we not basing it on our own element. You saying we gotta be like this right here to be fucking excellent, and I disagree with that. I disagree with that, me personally, but I'm also the type of person that ain't trying to appease society. So somebody who's trying to appease society, somebody who want to be in society, somebody who want to be a prominent figure within society, they can't allow themselves to even see my perspective. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's gonna take away what it is that they say that they want. So they can't even allow themselves to even be able to see it. So ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss, and some people come here to live ignorant experiences because it's still going to teach you. It's still going to teach you. It's just like on Westworld, the robot, the lady, all them experiences, everything that it was like data. It's information. If y'all have y'all ever seen Westworld? Westworld is one of them shows, but you know, what's my man name? What the Nolan dude, Jonathan Nolan, the dude who did the Dark Knight trilogy. He did Interstellar. He did some more, but I rock with his movies because they all occult theme, heavy occult theme movies. Heavy. I love them occult movies, man. I love studying this occult shit. Like, this shit just gives me so much joy. I have so much passion in it. It's so exciting. I mean, to me it is because this is me. This is who I am. So I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. But, you know, like I said, man, you know, it can get challenging sometimes because, you know, when you think this way.
Hey, man, you told them you write a new book.
Nah.
You write a new book yet?
Nah. You right. You right.
Then you gonna put the pre-sales up there.
The third book is on the way. I won't ready to tell y'all yet.
Yeah,
but the third book is on the way.
Third
book is on the way. Third book is on the way. I feel like after this I'm not writing no more self-help books though. This the last one. I'm not writing no more self-help books after this. After this, I'm writing like some fantasy, sci-fi, cosmic horror, supernatural storytelling books. This is my last self-help book. I'm finna get out of this space and just be more into my artistic expression because I love the storytelling. So I'd rather just tell the stories. You know, I'd rather just tell the stories. But I'm gonna go out with a bang with this one. I want you to tell your own story. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm trying to, y'all old not as comfortable getting on the camera and doing his talking. But I kept trying to tell him, you know, when I started and when I was going viral, I didn't like being on camera either. I still don't like being on camera. That's why it's hard. I should be going live every day. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I should be going live every day. I should be doing a lot more every day, but it's hard for me because I do not like attention. So, you know, some people really like attention. They do it because they really like attention. I don't like attention, but I gotta get out of my shell. I have to put myself out there. I know I have to. So
you keep telling me to tell my story, but it's just hard for me to tell my story right now.
What do I suggest a person starting out on this journey? Oh, be patient. I would suggest patience with yourself because it's gonna take you different. It's gonna take you different places. You know, you're gonna experience some different emotions, and a lot of times in the beginning, it's a lot of anger. I'm not gonna cap to you about that. It's a lot of anger because you learn how much you've been lied to. Like when you really realize how much you've been lied to, you just can't help but be angry. But I've learned that again, it's only a select few of us who really are supposed to be in the know, because it's way easier to lie to somebody than to convince them that they are being lied to. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? It's way easier to just lie to somebody than it is to convince them that they are being lied to. That's the world we live in. You see, that's the world we live in, and it can feel lonely. So understand that it's a good time to connect with your soul family, with your soul tribe. And what I mean by that is you have to find your family, that the people that you connect with beyond just this physical. You know what I'm saying? People outside of your blood relatives, because you'll learn your blood relatives and like your childhood friends become, in my eyes, more like karma, because they always trying to pull you back. Like nothing wants to pull you back to who you used to be or how you used to be more than people who've known you all your life and who want that person back, but you're no longer that person anymore. So you find yourself in this difficult space where sometimes you feel alienated, and this information can alienate you. You know, it can separate you from your family. I mean, hell, if you just decided to go into a different religion, it can separate you from your family. So doing this is a very, very serious decision and choice and journey to embark on. And I understand why everybody can't do it, because a lot of times you're going to find yourself isolated, away from your family, away from your friends, because they can't understand and they don't understand it. You don't mean to do it. You don't feel like you better than them, but you have to protect your own energy. You got to do it for your own sake, because remember, it's about mindset. And a lot of times we have to unlearn what we've been taught, and a lot of times that comes from our upbringing. So sadly, your relationships are going to change. All those relationships that you had with them people that's known you already, they're gonna change, sadly and unfortunately. But on a good note, you're gonna meet some people that you're gonna connect with in ways or on levels that you never knew that you could connect with. There's people that I met on this journey that we forever locked in. So it's gonna have its pros and it's gonna have its cons, but let your soul guide you along your journey. Listen to yourself, because certain things gonna resonate, and some things that you might resonate with some things, and some things you not. And it is in my study, a lot of that stems from your bloodline. But the problem a lot of us deal with as so-called black people in America is we don't know our bloodlines. And see, they tell you to get you an ancestry test, but please understand the science or the lack of science behind them ancestry tests. Please know and understand that all they really doing, those are really for entertainment purposes. You can't really use DNA for nothing in terms of no legalities or nothing except for paternity. So they gotta tell you something. So when it comes to those tests, they can only base it on what they know about those people today. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nigeria, right? Let's look at Nigeria. If I'm not mistaken, the country we know as Nigeria didn't become Nigeria until like the 60s. So the people that's there or was there, how do we know 10,000 years ago them was the same people that was there? How do you know? See, this is the rabbit holes that I go in. This is how I be viewing shit. That's why I don't do them. I'm not doing no ancestry type of test. You feel what I'm saying? And it makes it kind of hard because we do live in an environment. We live in a world where the powers that be is so much misinformation, man. It's just so much misinformation. So, the names of some books. Oh, my books. Okay. Yeah. So I have a Guide to Inner Peace. That's a book on numerology. And then I have a Guide to Self-Mastery, a book for the Chaos Warrior. I don't have no copies on me. I don't have no copies on me. But the link is in the bio if you want to just buy the ebook. If you want to buy some physical copies. I'm not shipping and selling any, but they are on Amazon. But this third book, so far right now, the title is Setting Your Soul on Fire. That's the title of it for now. I don't know if I'm gonna stay with it, but this third book I'm gonna personally ship this one out myself. So this one is gonna be special to me. You know, third time's a charm. But yeah, those are the two books. And sure, no problem. Y'all know I appreciate y'all. Like I tell people, especially even can you hear me now? My mic still distorted. I know I was kind of back and forth. Am I good? Let me know y'all can hear me. But within any of those full length lectures or bills that I give y'all, I try to provide a source where you can go read this for yourself, because no matter what somebody tells you and how much it resonates with you, you gotta go study it for yourself. You have to go study. You have to go study it for yourself, because you gotta make them connections yourself. You have to have your own aha moments, and you have to unlock your own DNA. How do you come up with a title? The new one, because of what it's about. So I call it setting your soul on fire, because it's a term, or it's an expression of finding your purpose. You know, finding your passion. So that's really ultimately what it's about. You know, it's about finding how to find your passion, how to find your purpose, how to live in your purpose, how to be in your purpose. You know, just living life, or living your life as a spiritual experience. You know what I'm saying? Because your spirituality should be healing. It should be healing for you. Like it should provide you with spiritual and soul growth. You know, it should lead you to being able to heal yourself. And I say this because through my personal experience, that's what I personally experienced. You know, I feel like my body personally led me. I had things going on in my body, and I was introduced to the energy body. And from there, I just started to make more and more connections. But it was my health really that really led me. So, and it won't be like that for everybody. It's gonna be different things. For some people, you know, they might go through a health crisis. Some people might get locked up in an institution. Some people might, you know, go through some heartbreak. Some people might have their whole life turned upside down. So it's different things for different people, depending on, you know what I mean. And if you are into astrology, if you're into numerology, it can provide you some insight on it. That's why I say your spirituality should be healing. If you can't grow, and if you aren't like able to really, you know, like really grow yourself through what you learning, then I don't know the purpose of it. You know, I don't know the purpose of it. Peace to everybody just joining. We kind of been on a while, but I am saving this live. So, you know, y'all make sure you run it back and catch what you missed. We got any questions? Anything y'all want to ask? Are all three of the books connected, or it doesn't matter which book you read first? Well, the first book, A Guide to Inner Peace, is numerology. And the second book, A Guide to Self-Mastery, is about alchemy. The third book is going to have everything in there. Like that one's going to take me a little, that was going to be a little oomph, you know, because the first two, they call it a guide because they're written in a format where you can easily just grasp the concepts. You know, you can pick it up at any given moment in time, and it's something useful right in there. And the numerology book just provides you the means of how to assess, you know, using numbers, you know, how to figure out your life path, what your life path can mean, even ways of how to use divination means of divination with numerology. You know, there's a way to do that. How it's all connected, you know, numerology, astrology, tarot, really all of those are systems based off of the same thing. They're all really can be done or utilized with an energetic approach. You know, seeing signs like 44 everywhere. You know, 44 carries a heavy spiritual meaning. 44. 44. It's a master number for one. It's a high double expression of that 4 energy. So you think about 4 in terms of 4. You got the 4 elements. Or you can think about 4 corners. There's 4 directions on a compass. Just like they say, the 4 corners of the earth. So in terms of the number 4, you're talking about building, talking about foundation. So 4 and 4, you can is a lot around stability. Now it's also depending on how you seeing the number, what you experiencing, what you dealing with, and I touch on that in there. So when you seeing these numbers, what can they mean for you? You know what I mean? So 4, stability. It can be in relation to family, something having to do with commitment. It can be connected to the knees, anything dealing with the knees, the ankles, low back. 4 also got to do with patience. You know what I'm saying? Are you having tunnel vision? Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you don't know if you're moving, if you're going? That type of thing. So once you get gematria is related to it, yes and no, but it's a little different, but it's pretty much, it's still a system or a means of understanding energy. It's based on a Hebrew system. So it's based on the Hebrew alphabet. It's based on because when you looking at, that goes back to Kabbalah. So that's why I say everything is connected. So if you study Kabbalah, every word has a numerical value. It has a numeric counterpart. So based on the numbers, so numbers and letters, they're symbols. They speak to your mind, to your subconscious. Within a letter, within a number, is information. The way it's written and everything, the way all of that. That's why there's spells in words. Why you have to write things out, because there's information within letters, within numbers, because they're symbols. So they carry a spiritual connection. Anytime you make a symbol, that's why when you making a business, you creating an entity. That's why it's important of your intention in anything that you create. That's a symbolic representation of something else, like a logo. So when you see these logos, when you see these brand logos, you don't know what they really connected to. Now you can figure it out. There's different means of symbols and things of that nature, decoding to figure it out, but that's really what it boils down to when you're looking at numerology. And there's a system of numerology that's related to the numbers in terms of your name. That's what I do with the energy report, but they are slightly different. It deals with numbers, but it's just a different type of system.
Hey man, throw that cash up about that too.
Y'all bless my cash up, y'all. I'm gonna put it up here. Let me put the cash app up here. You right, y'all. We dealing with some tough times now. We dealing with some tough times.
As y'all know, I'm a cripple right now. Well,
what?
I don't know if everybody knows.
Wait. Something going wrong.
What's that?
Wait a minute. Where's my other screen? Oh, there it is.
Oh, let's say it's
there
really
it is.
slow too.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm on dual. What you call it?
Oh.
Yeah. See, I'm streaming on Instagram and on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I need to do YouTube more.
Okay.
Do you think after the big disconnect from the family, as we get into spirituality, there can be a reconnect at a later point? I do. It's a very good chance it won't be the same though. It's a strong possibility it'll be different. It's a very strong possibility that it's not gonna be the same. I
know like OJ crazy.
It's not gonna be the same type of relationship. But you'll find that you as much as we want them to accept our past and everything, you really won't be able to make that connection again until you are able to accept that you don't need it. If that makes sense. Why are you looking in the camera like that? You wild and you feel that everything is going down. It feels like the world's against you. Oh man, Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. Um,
Gotta be.
I can. I went through this. I went through this today. Matter of fact, yo, I was feeling real down because
Snapping.
things been. I wasn't snapping though. Things things have not been going well, and we have a lot on our plate. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot on our plate, especially because we homeschool four kids. Four, you know, like baby boy, he just got in kindergarten this year, so it's four now, you know. So we got a 10th grader, we got a kindergartner, and we got two in the fourth grade. We got two in the fourth grade, so it's a lot. But in times like that, it's hard. I won't lie to you, it's hard, and depending on who you are, you have to find your anchor. You have to find what anchors you. You know, you have to find a reason to keep going because it's like I personally, it's dangerous sometimes. It's dangerous sometimes knowing what you know. Like when you really know this knowledge, because you know that you really don't get liberated until you leave the body. So you know leaving the body is you know what I'm saying, it's like you won't really be free from a lot of this shit that plagues us until then. So you know, it's hard, you know what I'm saying? But it can be tough. It can be tough. It can be tough. I would definitely say that. Why do some people smoke weed if the alchemy? I don't get it. What you mean? I'm misunderstanding the question. Well, you know, but you know, our ancestors always had the peace pipe. You know what I'm saying? Especially those of us more in tune to our indigenous natures, or you know, the ways of our indigenous ancestors. The problem is when the herb becomes an abuse, when you abuse the herb, you know, because it's supposed to be for spiritual practices. Like honestly and truly, weed is a spiritual plant, it's a spiritual flower. Just like, you know, shrooms is the shrooms as a fungus. It's crazy when you I looked at the old Super Mario Brothers with my kids some months back, the old one, the live action one, and remember in that joint they had the machine that would take them back to what they was prehistoric, and the king came from fungus, from the mushroom. That's deep. If you study mushrooms, you study shrooms, yo, you know, because he doesn't fast. It's very, very easy for most people to be addicted to it, and it's because naturally in our nature, like I say, we've always utilized the herb. And but it's not just weed. Weed naturally, it's a lot easier for us to be more addictive to things because of society, because of culture. Everything is push. Everything is go. Like, you got to do this, and there's so much anxiety and things of that nature. So people get dependent on the herb so that they can escape, you know, just like any other drug. You know, just like some people use sex, some people use money, some people use food. You know, some people have a thing where that's why food and drug, the FDA, go together, because most times foods are drugs. You know, foods are just as addictive. Sugar is more addictive than crack cocaine, or just as addictive. And there's a reason for that. It's because of the impact of what it do to our bodies. Because again, these things it affects our vibration. So therefore, you are more susceptible to mind control. You're more susceptible. And when I say mind control, I'm not just saying it like a TV version of just, you know, zombied out. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying the social construct of what we find to be true, how we perceive our reality as what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what you got to do, what you're supposed to do, who you're supposed to be, things of that nature. So you gotta, if you can't go without the herb, like if you can't go a day without the herb, then you probably dealing with some addiction issues, you're using it as a crutch. You're going to it to escape something, because there's probably something within you that you don't know how to feel, or that you don't want to feel. So you're emotionally acting out. So in that terms, what you're going to do is you running off to get in the herb, or to whatever it is that people do. So, yeah, that. Any advice on people struggling to express themselves, being put down all their lives? Yes. First, get you a journal. Get a journal, start writing. Start just getting comfortable expressing your thoughts. Like, you'd be amazed how much people just can't journal. Like, literally can't bring themselves to put a pen to paper and to journal. So that's step one. That's the first thing. So you can yourself just start to work through your own feelings. So you can start to get accustomed to your own expression, and it'll get easier for you. So you can let that kind of flow. And art is always, some form of artistic expression is always a good form of easy level shadow work. It's a good form of easy level shadow work. And I say easy level because it's an easy way to explore yourself without really realizing that you're exploring yourself, because you kind of got to trick your ego to come out. So it's like, because it's not going to engage just like that, and when it does, most of the time you've taken a back seat, and you're not really aware that now the ego is out really doing what it's doing, or the shadow is doing what it's doing. So, and the shadow, your shadow self, your ego self, is molded out of being put down all your life. So however you've had to cope with that in a day-by-day situation, that's who you become, but it's not who you are. So you got to gradually rework yourself back to who you were before you had to learn to cope in that way, because you don't got to cope like that no more. You see what I'm saying? So you have to find a way to take yourself out of that mindset, out of that setting, out of that environment. So, you can have a more positive, a more nurturing environment. Start listening to affirmations, different types of affirmations, not just the I am. Start with the I ams, because those are in the rooted in the root. And if you've been dealing with that all your life, 9 times out of 10, you got a very damaged root chakra, or you got a lot of work need to be done to your root chakra. So you want to work your way back through that. So start working on affirmations. When you get up in the morning, when you first get up, put you on some affirmations to listen to for 20 minutes while you getting yourself dressed or whatever before you go to bed. You want to try to put more of the things that you want to be or you want to see in front of you. So you want to look at more stories of people who have brought themselves out of, lower situations on it, because you need to make yourself a believer. You have to believe in it so that way that you can create that for yourself, because beliefs become truths, whether we want to accept that or not. You know what I'm saying? The more you start to believe it, you're going to know it anyway. And as it become a truth, it will become a physical object or physical events in your life that can, from there begin to be more and more. Do other drugs that are toxic? If it could, if a person is genuinely running from something within themselves and they are using, like weed as a means of coping, they could very well easily get into another drug. But in all honesty, alcohol is more of a gateway than weed is. Most of the time, what happens with people in weed, they just get what's the words I'm looking for? Because a lot of people like to say people lazy on weed, but that's not really true. Weed don't really make you lazy. It's just that if people are using weed to accommodate or to escape, then it is gonna make you like that if you're using it as a means of escape. But everybody don't do it that way, but very few people are spiritual about it, if we being honest. But it could push them into other drugs. It could, but that happens less likely with weed. It happens less likely with weed. But I would say they could do other things that are toxic to them just as much, but it wouldn't be looked at as bad because it's not a drug. You see what I'm saying? So other things could be just as toxic, but you know what I'm saying? So be on the lookout for those other habits also. You know what I'm saying? That too. I can understand it in terms of losing people to drug abuse. So, and in terms of that, for that could be something that you are having to learn from. That could be something that you already dealt with. You could have dealt with it in another life. You could have dealt with drug abuse in another life. That could be why it could be something that's been present in your lifetime, because it's something that you experiencing from the opposite side now. Because when a person on drugs, or when a person like have to do time, those things affect the family too. Those things affect the family too. So people that use and stuff like that don't always recognize that why they using, because that's what they doing. But you also have to remember, they will tell you that drug abuse, regardless of the way that they treat black and brown people about it, right? They tell you that it's a mental thing. It's a brain thing. It's literally a brain chemistry thing. So it's relating to something going on within the brain, going on within their own minds. Some people, like I said, they're more highly sensitive, so they feel more things, and society does not deal with that within itself. We just institutionalize people that's on drugs, or that's what we have. We have an institution for them, and it's supposed to be rehabilitation, but they don't always rehabilitate. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you mean. Birth or Rebirth movie. I haven't seen it. I'll check that one out. Prescription medication that isn't being abused. Do you think it can be helpful in some cases? In some cases, it depending on what a person dealing with. Me personally, right? I'm gonna use myself as an example. So I have a highly addictive energy. Like, it's stuff in my chart. Like Whitney Houston, right? I'm gonna just say that, like Whitney Houston. So I don't want to touch no drugs. I don't even want to touch prescription pills. Me personally, because I don't want to. I don't want to get addicted to nothing. That's just me. But if you dealing with, that's how people do get on drugs though, because prescription drugs do a lot more. People die from prescription drugs than they do from like your weeds and stuff of that nature. So remember that too. Pharmacists, and that's legal drug dealing. So me personally, I do what I can to stay away from prescription drugs, especially because I rather listen. If I'm hurting, right, if I'm dealing with some pain, I would rather smoke me some weed than to take me a pill. I would rather do that. You know what I'm saying? Even though they might be tampering with the weed a little bit, unless you're growing it yourself. But I would rather do that. Me personally, I ain't telling nobody else what to do, than to get on a pill, or than to take a pill, than to do that, because I don't want to put myself in any type of predicaments where I'm dependent on some type of drug. So I'll go through a little bit more pain. My husband will tell you, I'll go through some shit before I'm like, damn, alright, I need to take something, because I just can't take it. So like 2 weeks ago, I pulled a muscle in my shoulder, my back. I mean, all this was hurting bad. I couldn't even sit at the desk. So part of the detox, I couldn't come back anyway, because I couldn't even sit at the desk without like being in some excruciating pain. Like, it was nice. I couldn't sleep. Nothing, man. Just nothing. After about a week, I just couldn't take it no more, because it wasn't getting any better. I had to go to the ER. I was like, man, I just can't take it no more. I've been trying to deal with it, but I'm in too much pain. And they gave me a shot. I ain't want that, but they gave me a pain for severe pain, and it eased off. It eased off, and it hasn't been hurting as much, but it's not it's not the same though. Like I can still tell I need to see a doctor, because if I pick up something heavy, I can drop it. Like I can't hold it still. So something is wrong still, nerve wise. But I said all that to say I went through all of that because I know me, and I didn't want to subject myself to no pill. Even after I went to the doctor, they gave me prescriptions. I didn't go pick them up because I was like, I'm gonna see if I'll be okay without it, because that's just me. That's just me. But in certain situations when you're dealing with a lot of pain, you gotta do what you gotta do. So you gotta do what's best for you. Just practice discernment for your situation. You know what you feel. You gotta acknowledge what you feel inside. If it's something coming up and it's a question on if you gonna do it or not, you gotta listen to what's going on in yourself. You gotta listen to yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's what you have to do. So no, I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you don't ever take no pill, or don't ever. I can't say that because I don't know your situation, and that would be very irresponsible of me to say that, because it could be something that you might have a person might have a sickness or illness or something, and they might need to take it. So I'm not gonna tell you not to. I'm not one of them crazy. I'm a realist, man. I'm still a realist at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, I'm a mind over matter. Like I really deal with this mind thing. Like everything that I know from what I've studied is mind. You know what I'm saying? It's the mind first. If you can deal with it in the mind. Do you wear protective jewelry? I do. I wear gemstones. Gemstone jewelry. Like I have rubies and amethysts. I don't really wear diamonds. Like that. So yeah, I wear protective jewelry. Gemstones, crystals. Your black tourmaline and things like that. So I'm big on it. So I'm the type of person. If I was to me, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't leave out of my spiritual lifestyle just because I get more money. You know what I'm saying? Like I probably would double down on it. Like if I was to get a lot of money, you probably wouldn't see me with like a bunch of iced out jewelry. You probably would see me with like hella gems, like different gemstone pieces. Like you would see that. You would see big crystals around my house. Like I'm that type of person. I really live my spirituality. Like that's just how I live. Like a person like me, when something ain't right, when something going, the first thing I'm gonna do is assess spiritually. That's the first thing. What this mean spiritually? Something go on in my body. I deal with something in my body. What's going on spiritually? So I messed my shoulder up. So dang, am I taking on too much? Am I being burdened by something? What's going on? See, I'm gonna approach it. I'm gonna approach it that way. I'm gonna approach it in terms of my spirituality is my first go-to. That's what I'm gonna do, cause that's just me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's just how I do things. Microdosing. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't had the luxury of being able to bask in the shrooms like that, and it's the one thing that I haven't been able to do in a physical experience as of yet. Now I've done a lot of reading on it. It's a lot of mystical properties to the shrooms. It's a lot of it to it, but I don't know about microdosing. I'm gonna reserve my take on that until I get more into my personal experience of it. But from what I've seen, mystically speaking, some say, the mushroom is the sacred flower, the sacred plant, and the means to spiritual enlightenment. But yeah. I've had 2 instances of being shown a childbirth in my dreams and later found out it really happened. Okay. A childbirth. Are you into anything related to dwellers, or it could be in terms of birth, right? Now, when we saying dreams, dreams can be symbolic. So symbolically, when we're talking about a birth, it don't necessarily have to mean a child. Now, you said it did happen. It actually happened, but birth isn't always birth of a baby. It can be birth of an idea. It can be birth of something that you are birthing within yourself. You can birth a new version of yourself. So I would need a little bit more information. In terms of how you personally can cultivate it as an ability. But a lot of things that spiritually, a lot of times our spiritual gifts are given to us by our ancestors. Ooh, I'm getting hot in here. So, y'all got any more questions? Start a podcast? That's a good question.
All right, we're going to start.
We supposed to start that podcast some months back. I'm glad you asked. How y'all feeling about the podcast? Let me know if y'all gonna listen. Let me know for real, y'all. Lymphatic system needs drainage, possibly. You saying in terms of the... I don't know. I'm jumping from different chats. I do need to try it. I was going to do it for my birthday. But, a lot kind of happened.
You talking about some shrooms?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Life is hard right now.
Yeah, so we supposed to start the podcast. And we kind of been hesitant. But me and O going to do the podcast. And it's been a lot, though, because... and some of y'all know, but y'all may not all know, O had an accident last August. He fell through some stairs, some concrete stairs here at our building. And it's been a lot because I'm not to say off his feet, but I mean we might as well say off his feet, because he really can't do, driving is hard for him. He got a severely pinched nerve. He got to have a surgery. It's that bad.
$400,000 worth of medical debt.
Yeah, so he already had a surgery on his knee. He had a meniscus surgery. Yeah, so it's been a lot, y'all. It's really, 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 really been a lot. It's a lot on us, so it's been a lot. Start that podcast. I hear y'all. I feel you. We was literally just talking about that. We was literally just talking about that. Yeah. So that's good to know.
I know you probably told them it'd be taking us like 8-10 hours to deal with the kids every day.
Yeah, because we have to, and they do homeschool, but, last year we were doing traditional homeschool, but we had everything set up for them. So this year they're doing more like online, so we can kind of alleviate ourselves some, but it still don't feel like it because, like he said, sometimes it's, we might take 6, 7, 8 hours to make sure everybody's getting through doing all of their work assignments, so it's a lot. It's a lot to live the spiritual lifestyle, man. Don't let nobody lie to you.
Facts.
And say that it ain't, because it's a lot. It takes a lot, man. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot. It really, really does. It really, really does. So if you're really trying to do it, if you're really into doing it, I commend you. If you want any type of advice, hit me up. But it is a lot, because I can't lie to y'all. Like I was saying today, like, man, I about want to put these kids in school, man. I just feel like it's just so much. But as I said, it's because we dealing with other situations on top of it, and you just be feeling like nothing is enough, man. But you just have to keep pushing through, because these feelings can be temporary. They are temporary. Most of the time, feelings is temporary. They tell even if you experience something that's extremely painful, that hurts you a whole lot, feelings it takes, and this is what they say now. They say you look this up. They say it's 90 seconds. You really feel what you feel for 90 seconds, and after that, you just holding on to the hurt. Now, granted, different situations, you lose somebody, it's gonna hurt longer. You are gonna hold on to it longer. But you gotta remember that these feelings, they what they do is they change us. You can't be afraid to let them change you. You can't be afraid to let them change you. How do we do the vaccine exemptions? The religious exemption. So there's the form. I'm in the state of Georgia. So there's the form. You just have to fill it out, get it notarized. They'll take that instead of the vaccine. Your child's shot record or immunization record, so to speak. So yeah. So yeah. So that's how we work through the vaccine. I'm not sure how it works in all states, but I know in a lot of states, but Georgia still allows the religious exemption. So because they allow it, that's what we utilize. So our youngest three have had no shots. No shots. And that's a 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old. My oldest, she's 15. She has had some shots, and she didn't get those shots. Well, no. She 15, so we didn't know nothing back then. Yeah, we didn't really know nothing back then. Yeah, so yeah. My oldest is kind of like that. But even still, once we got into the know, we kind of veered away from that schedule. We veered away from it, you know what I'm saying? So she don't, like, follow that still, you know what I mean? Oh, okay, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. I'm born and raised from North Carolina, but I'm from the East. I'm from Tarboro, Rocky Mount way. It's rough out there. It's rough out there. Oh, okay. Into Yoruba, Ifa. All right. What religion are they? Except they don't ask the religion. It's just you should be able to look it up. Look up state of North Carolina religious exemption for vaccines, and it's just a form. You put the child name and your date and everything. You just say due to religious exemptions, it is due to religious beliefs, it provides you exemptions from vaccines. They don't even ask no questions about what your religion is, because so many even regular the Jehovah's Witness people don't get into that. So it's a lot of religions that are against it, so they don't really ask. At least they didn't ask here in the state of Georgia. So but yep, Christianity is the law of the land. Yeah, it is. Oh, okay. So I see. So you a seer. So you be seeing pregnancy. You might have you probably have a strong water element to you. There's something about some type of water energy or some goddess, some feminine or fertility energy that you resonate with, that you able to tap in like that. Yeah, so you gotta give. You gotta give. So that's how your psychic energy expresses itself. Like, and not only that, it fluently expresses itself. So a lot of people can have, slight psychic energy, but we're not all as, accustomed or tapped into it. But, it sounds like you have the ability to particularly be in tune with that, with being able to see that from another realm. So yeah, a lot of water in your birth chart. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense then. So you probably got strong. You can attract a lot of women. You can naturally, then the feminine aspect is on your side. I would probably guarantee that you got a water trine in your chart. You probably got a water trine. A trine is like a triangle. But remember, whenever we have a trine is like an opening. It's like a portal. So people with a water trine, they blessed by the feminine. They gifted by women. Women like to give them shit, or women love them. Like Drake got a water trine. That's why women love Drake. Women is what pushed Drake. That's why he acknowledged women. That's why he made the Nice for What. He made the records for women, because he's blessed by the feminine. So in that terms, when it comes to what you feel, you probably really have gifts in your in your emotions, yo. You probably an empath. You probably feel other people too. You can have a lot of good issues. If that's the case, you can have a lot of good issues. You want to get you a black stone, get you a black tourmaline, or what's the other one? Not onyx. Not onyx. Why is this slipping my mind right now? Man, what is the black gemstone? Why can't I think of it right now? I say this probably every day. Obsidian. Get you some obsidian or either black tourmaline. I'm a rising Pisces, so like I get like that around people. So I absorb people. I don't like being around a lot of people. And what I noticed too is water can help me release. So water is always a good release for me. Sometimes even if I can't do nothing else, I just go take a shower, and I'll feel 100 times better. Cause I'll just feel like, I don't know, it's just something about that water. Something about that water that just allows shit to just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of clears me. Even listening to water, you might could fall asleep listening to water at night. You know what I'm saying? A life path 5 Sagittarius. You know who's a life path 5 Sagittarius? Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a life path 5 Sagittarius. You want freedom, bro. Freedom. You all about freedom. But you ain't gonna get that freedom until you get that discipline. And you like to do everything big, because you got that sag energy. You want to do it big, big, big. But you got to have that discipline. If you don't have the discipline, you're not going to get that freedom you want, because you're going to feel like you bouncing between being dependent or being independent. Being dependent, being independent. But 5 is a big love number. 5 is a love number. It's in the center. It's the emotional love number. So you love hard. You really, really love hard. You gotta be out here tripping, being chaotic with it too. You can be scattered. Your energy can be different places. You can find yourself starting stuff. So that's where your discipline gonna come in. You're gonna need discipline to finish. So you can start a lot of shit, but you're gonna need the discipline to finish it. That's why you gotta do the discipline. And what you learn about discipline is the highest form of self-love. The highest form. Now remember, 5 is a love number. It's in the middle of the numerology chart. The 5 sits in the middle. So it's like the heart. So with that 5 in there, that's like emotional. That's emotional love. That's emotional love. So you're a big filler. You're a big filler, man. Like you fall. You can really fall for somebody. Like you can give up part of yourself. Like lose yourself in a person. But you want to travel. You definitely want to travel. You don't want to just travel in the United States or in the States either, or wherever you at. Even if you within the country you in, you want to go across oceans. You want to travel the world. You want to go all over the place, and you can do it too. You can do it too. Yeah, you can do it too. It's gonna provide so much insight for you. It's going to provide so much insight for you with that 5. Can sea salt along the door be used for protection? If so, should it be swept up and replaced daily? Yes, sea salt can be used for protection. It can be used for clearing. I use sea salt. Sometimes I put my crystals in some salt when I'm charging it. Sometimes when my tarot cards, my deck, sometimes I put Himalayan salt crystals in the case that I keep them in, sometimes for clearing. But yes, they are good. It is good for protection, because you gotta think about it. Salt has it's like an ion, right? So like you got ions in your body, like charges, plus and negatives. So salt is one. So in terms of sodium, so yes, it can be used. I wouldn't have to say you don't have to replace it daily, but you do need to replace it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when people come to your house, you do want to replace it. But now you don't have to do it daily. You don't have to do it daily though. 5 is heart and heart is Leo. That's facts. That's facts. That is facts. That's why they that big love number. Okay, 5 person Sun Sun Gemini and Moon in Leo. Ooh, so you got a lot of that flare energy because you got a Leo Sun. I mean a Leo Moon. Ooh, and okay. So you probably all over the place. You probably you very quick with it. Like you like this. You could be real smart, real, real quick to pick up on things, very adaptable. You pick up on shit fast. You learn a lot. I can see that too. Even with the scattered energy, your energy could be scattered too. You can find yourself being scattered. When you get mad, you can throw temper tantrums too. You can throw temper tantrums when you get mad. Yep, 5. Yeah, you're right. That is. Yep, that's right. 5 and 4. Yeah, you're looking at Leo and Cancer. That's why when you're looking at 4, sometimes it can relate to family because, like, think about, Cancers are family oriented. So when you're dealing with a 4 can be about the role you play in your family. Yep, each thing you eat turns to sugar and salt within the body. A Cancer life path 4. Oh, you stubborn as hell. Oh, stubborn ass Cancer 4. You stubborn as hell, but you strong. And that strength can be endurance. Like you can endure some shit. Like you might have gone through some things that people don't know how you made it through what you went through. It's also about stability. So you could have went through having to move a lot in your youth. You could have moved around a lot. You gotta watch your knees. 4s really affect the knees. So you look at people like your Derrick Rose, right? Derrick Rose had knee problems. He couldn't change how he played because 4s are stubborn. Because 4 is hard to change. He couldn't change. So, initially he couldn't change, and that's what caused all his injuries because he would always go up and land the same way. It was bad on his knees. So that stability, that type of force, because 4s are so strong, they have so much, because it's like think about foundation. The earth element is the last element to come into being, because we talking about because it represents the physical. So the physical is last, so it's the lowest vibrational frequency because it's gross matter, meaning it's dense, it's in physical form, so you can see it. You can't see air, you see what I'm saying, but you can see earth, right? So in terms of that, it's dealing with everything related to the ground, your stability, you know what I'm saying, security. If you look at a 4, it looks like a chair. A chair has to be sturdy and firm in order for you to sit on it, right? So that's the 4. The sign of the turtle, depends on who you're talking to. Some people, the turtle is in relation to Turtle Island. Turtle Island being an acknowledgement of the indigenous people prior to what we know as the colonization of America, or what they've told us about America. Life path 11. 11, it's a master number. So you got that heightened sensitivity, that heightened intuition, but you also got a lot of creativity. But it can make you struggle with your confidence because you're so creative. You're such a leader. You're so out front that you're gonna be ahead of other folks. So you innovative, and because you're ahead of other people, sometimes it's gonna affect your confidence because ain't nobody trying to do what you're doing. So you got to be confident to do what you're doing, or to put yourself out there to do what you're doing. So that's the thing about that 11. Now, depending on which 11, you got some 11s that have specifically dealt with some forms of abuse. 2911 specifically deal with abuse, whether it's mental, whether it's verbal, whether it's some form of physical. 11s can typically 2911 specifically deal with it, because they have the 2 and the 9 in terms of that 11. Life path 9, Aquarius sun, Libra moon, Cap rising. Whoo! So a 9 is your ultimate lead by action. So you don't have to say in your mind or know in your mind that you're a leader, but whatever you do is always going to be an example. So that's why you might feel like you can't get away with shit in your life. Like everybody, like let's say everybody doing something that everybody could get in trouble for, but you would be the one person that get in trouble out of everybody else. You be the one person that get caught because you deny, because you know better. You supposed to know better. The 9 has been here before. You have to access all that wisdom from all your past lives, because you have to operate at a higher standard, whether you want to accept it or not. And you have to operate from that integrity. But it's really, 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 really about you learning that you have to operate from your own self, from your own heart. You have to live through your heart. You got to learn to follow your heart. 9s can get so discouraged by other people's opinions. You got to block other people out. You can't listen to nothing nobody else say. As a 9, it's very easy for you to get caught up in other people's shit, in their opinions of what they think you should do. And that can mess you up because you got that chameleon energy, meaning a 9 is every number. You understand? Every number is 9. Like, because any number multiplied by 9 is 9. 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 is 1 plus 8 is 9. 3 plus 9 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. No matter what number you multiply with 9, you're going to get 9. So 9 has the ability of every number before it. So they can be chameleons. No matter what room they go in, they can function and do what they got to do in that room. But no matter what you do, like I said, you are the example because you know better. And you are living this life under the terms and agreement that you know better. So you have to operate like you know better. So if you don't do right because you know better, you have to deal with the consequences. Because you're dealing with that karmic. Because 9 is a cycle. 9 is the end of the cycle. So you at the end of the cycle. So it's completions. 9 can deal with death. If you're saying 9, sometimes it can be related to death. It can be related to ending of some sort. So if you keep seeing 9s, it's time for something to end. Something's coming to a close. Because there's time for you to embark on something new now. Now the Aquarius sign itself, I call it Aquarius is the god of the zodiac. And I say that the Leo, right, is the sun. The sun is the ruler of this solar system. The Aquarius, the Neptune rule another solar system. That's how that works. They gods of some other of another place. That's why the Aquarius is the humanitarian and can see in the future, and they deal with technology and everything because they ain't from here. They ain't from here. You understand? They're not from this solar system. Aquarius ass ain't from here. They extremes. They deal in extremes. It's either this extreme or that extreme. And it is frustrating as fuck. Because y'all can be so dark. Aquarius can be so dark. And y'all have this way of being to yourself or not needing the group. But you really do want the approval of the group deep down inside. Even if you don't want to say it. Because remember, the Aquarius is the polar opposite of the Leo. The Leo is the lion. The lion needs a pride. But the Aquarius don't need the group. But the Aquarius will lead the group from outside the group. Everybody will look at the Aquarius and what the Aquarius is doing and follow suit to what the Aquarius is doing. But the Aquarius is doing their own thing. That's why they're unconventional. Nothing about them is, everything about Aquarius say rebel. You feel what I'm saying? That can be very traumatic if you have your kids taken. That can be very traumatic. That can be very impacting. Because as a parent, when you become a parent, whether, motherhood, fatherhood, motherhood, parenthood, Those are terms of initiation. Like you initiated when you become a mother, when you become a father, you become something different now. You have different obligations now. There's different means. This is a different path that you walk in now. So there's different things that you're gonna learn about yourself now, because through this little person that's a little miniature almost version of you, they gonna teach you more about yourself than you ever knew that you could know about yourself. Nothing gonna teach you more about yourself than being a parent. About Capricorn, well, Capricorns, right? All right, so we know the Capricorns to be seen as like the serious types. They your authority figures. You know, they the authority. They know how to climb the ladder. They know how to get into positions of authority. They typically, you know, they the goats. So when you say goats, right? They yeah. Nah, I'm still up here. So when you say the goats, they know how to conquer the physical. They the masters of the physical realm. That's why the devil is a goat. That's why they tell you that this is the devil playground, because they are masters of the physical. And but deep down within themselves, they water creatures. You know, like the ancient form of the goat, or the depiction of it, it would be the goat, but it would have the tail of a fish. So that's why they can suppress and hold down their dreams, but once they get in a position of authority, that's when that shit will come out, and they can be, you know, your zealous dictators and things. And that's when you see what they really believe in within themselves, because they are the authority to inflict that shit. But you know, the Capricorns, like I said, the Capricorns, they are dreamers. Deep within themselves, they dream, but they'll never let you know it. They have to stick to reality. You know what I mean? They have to stick to reality. Libra life path 1. Oh, that's probably hard for you if you a Libra life path 1, because Libras, y'all already indecisive as hell and don't want to rock the boat. Like, partnership is y'all thing. So 1 is out in front. Like, if you're, 1s are innovators. They're in terms of being an innovator, or like an enterpriser. So that means you embark on adventure. You know, that means you discover. That means you do things that's not been done, which can kind of put you at odds with yourself, because it's naturally in your nature to go with the flow, to be to kind of go with things as it is, to be easygoing, to not rock the boat, because that's what a Libra energy is. It don't rock the boat, you know what I'm saying? And that's why Libras can find themselves being indecisive, because they naturally can see both sides of a thing. So it's hard to make a decision, but you gotta make a decision. You gotta choose. You feel me? Whew, but yeah, y'all, I'm about to wrap it up. I had a good build with you all. When you out of the blue struggle to meditate and do breath work, you might be you probably have a blockage. You probably got a blockage, and you probably really need it. But you know, your ego really keeping you from doing it. Like, it's within yourself, there's some type of trauma that ain't allowing you to really work through it. So that's why I say too that you have to allow yourself to feel whatever you feel, because if you don't, it gets stuck in your body. And if it gets stuck in your body, it's gonna clog up your body, your energy. That's how we get sick. That's how we have, you know, all type of dis-ease, because the body's not in ease. It's not in harmony. You know, it's not in harmony with itself. So not being in harmony is going to cause your energy to be out of whack, creating on a physical, manifesting in a physical level as some type of illness or some type of disease, or it could even come as a form of some type of an accident or something like that. But the more you feel like you can't do it, the more you need to do it. So you might need to take a more drastic approach to kind of throw yourself into it. Like maybe do a bath ritual. You might have to do something different to kind of to throw you into that space, because some emotion somewhere, some feeling somewhere, or something somewhere is locked up in your body. So it ain't letting you flow. Yeah, my mom is an Aquarius. My mom is an Aquarius. I have an Aquarius moon. So I have an Aquarius moon. My mom is an Aquarius. My husband's an Aquarius. His mom is an Aquarius. So a lot of Aquarius energy around me. Yeah, a lot of Aquarius energy around me. I'm learning a lot with Aquarius. And like I said, my moon is in Aquarius. And it's in my 12th house. So I can see in so many ways how that energy is playing out in my life, or how it has played out in my life, you know. And I think that's important when you're dealing with astrology. You need to see how that energy has played out in your life. I really think that that's important, because then it's almost like you can understand that it's almost like a blueprint. You know, it's almost like a guide for you. Oh yeah, if you a Capricorn and he an Aquarius, yeah, y'all don't really mix like that. You probably get on his. Let me see, whoever is the Capricorn. Oh, okay. So you the Capricorn, he the Aquarius. Okay. So yeah, so you probably a lot of times like be thinking you could be seeing a lot of stuff as delusional, or you know, kind of out there. But it depends though. It ain't really just about your sun sign. It might not even be that way. It might not be that way. I'm seeing a couple life path 8s on here. So when we talking about an 8 life path, 8 is power and abundance. And most of the time in this life, in this particular time in society, is money. It's dealing with money. So I find people with 8s have issues with money, or they find themselves dealing specifically with obstacles related to money. Whether people use them a lot for their money, you know, a lot of times they're passive aggressive, or if they're not that way, if they're not passive aggressive and being used for their money, then they are overly like business oriented, and they don't do anything outside of business, and they caught up with their work, and they only focus on the money. But what you got to know as an 8, if you struggle with your money, with your power, with your influence, is because somewhere in another life you've had power to the point where you abused it, and now subconsciously you fear that same outcome again. So you probably know in yourself as an 8 you can blow up and you could hurt somebody. Like you really know that you can really go dark on somebody. Like you know that, and it can scare you. It can scare you about who you can be, who you can become. That's that 8. So because you got power out the wazoo. You a powerful being in this life. So what that means is you have to find something in that's of your heart to get behind. Because remember I told you 5 is in the middle. It's a big love number. It's an emotion love number, where 8 is right beside it. 8 is love in action. It's a love in action number. So you gotta do things that you love to reap your rewards. You can't do it for the money. You have to do it for a higher purpose. You must do it for something else. Whether that, even if it's just your family, even if your family is just yo bigger, this is bigger than me, you know, whatever it is, it gotta be bigger than you. Also, now if you passive aggressive, or people be using you and stuff like that, then you learning how to take action. You don't know how to take action then, because you're supposed to be taking action, and you might be missing opportunities and things because you don't know how to use that power to your will. Instead, you rather not use it at all because you fear what it is, so you rather not use it, and you just tone it down. Or like I said, some people are just, they might be over the top, and they might just crush on people with their power, with their influence. So that's the means of the 8. Because remember, 8, if you turn an 8 sideways, it's infinity. it's infinity. So whatever you put out is always gonna come back to you as an 8. I always remember that you learning it at a different magnitude than everybody else. Everybody is learning it, but you learning it at a different magnitude than everybody else, because you a master. You abundance. You learning about abundance. So what are you having in abundance? What are you focusing on in abundance? That's what's gonna come back to you. You see what I'm saying? That's what's gonna come back to you. What is the best way to figure it out? Your moon sign. You need your birth time. You have to have your birth time. It needs to be as accurate as possible. It really needs to be accurate. If you have your birth time, you can look it up. You can look up your birth time. Now your life path, you just add your numbers together. So for example, my birthday is 9/5/1987. So I would add up the 9 plus the 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7. It comes out to 39. 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 is 3. So my main life path number is a 3. But I look at 39, 12, and 39, 12, 3. That's how I view it, because all those numbers at play, because I can see all that energy. I can see all that energy in my life. Now, let me highlight this too about 9s. 9s is connected to the Father. 9s have a strong connection to the Father, whether your father was in your life or not. Now, what I realize about people specifically that's a 39-12, most 39-12s don't have their fathers in their life, or there's some type of animosity or some type of situation that separates them from the Father. So when you're dealing with a 9, you're dealing with Father. That's why it's responsibility. That's why it's the example, because it's like the Father, you know. Yep, 3's born to inspire. So your means of inspiration, you gotta express, but you understand you sensitive. You sensitive as hell. 3s are ultra sensitive. We sensitive, but we sensitive because of our sensitivity. It allows us to be able to see so many things that other people can't see, and we are able to elaborate on those things, and that's how we create art from these little small things that have affected us because of our sensitivities. So people with 3s tend to have allergies, tend to have, issues around the throat. Don't really get sick a lot, but stress can really fuck you up. Stress can really do you in as a 3. 3s also, it is all about talking communication, but be careful about third party communication. You can be messy and bring some drama and go telling somebody else somebody's business. You can bring a third party in. So be careful of that. They can be real sexual. 3 energy is very, very sexual. I find 303s to be really sexual. Sometimes to the point where a lot of them can be fluid. But I did a lot of readings, y'all. I'm about to go on and wrap it up. But, hop on. The next time you see a live Q&A, we'll go back over some more, just talk like this, whatever y'all questions may be. How do I add it? Just add up each digit. So there's, let me see, I see 12111975. So you would add it up. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, plus another 1 is 6, plus that 9 is 15, plus 7 is 22, plus 5 is 27. So that's a 27-9. So listen, this December 11th, 1975, you were 27-9. So what that means is, as a 27-9, I'm going to give you an example of people that's 27-9. Future is a 27-9. Nick Cannon is a 27-9. Y'all love sex. But sex is a means of balance for you. So just be responsible, because y'all love sex. Y'all love sex, but y'all can have abandonment issues. Because with that 9, a lot of times, it could be you lost somebody really close to you at a young age. Not necessarily the father, but it could be a father figure. It could be somebody that's a male. That 9 can attract a lot of males. That 7 has to do with trust. You can have trust issues. You can have dealt with betrayal. Somebody could have betrayed you. stab you in the back, make it hard for you to trust people. Now, if you're dealing with a 2, now if you got a 2 in your life path, you struggle with cooperation and balance. So it's hard for you to just do your part. So a lot of times you can be overdoing, you can be overcompensating. You can be doing too much. Or when you get to the point where you do too much, then all of a sudden you done did so much. Now you just pull back, and now you don't want to do nothing. You completely remove yourself out of resentment because the other person couldn't give the same amount as you, but you didn't realize that you didn't cooperate with that person because you gave more than you were supposed to give. If you give more, they can only give less. They have no choice but to give less. They can't give more. You can't overfill a cup. You can only put into the cup how much it's going to allow you to put into the cup. So if you fill up the cup 3/4, don't get mad because the other person can't put 3/4 in the cup. You already did everything in the damn cup. They can't add but 1/4 to the cup. You have to learn how to cooperate. You got to pull back and only do what you supposed to do. You thinking if I just do a little bit more, they might like me more. They might do this more. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And later on, you're going to have to pay for it. And you're going to be mad. And you're going to resent that person and feel like they didn't give the same. But they couldn't. That's the lesson for you. Stop overdoing. You doing too much. You gotta pull back and cooperate. Allow that person to do what they supposed to do. Now, if you give them the space to do it, they don't do it. Now that's a different situation. But you have to give them the space to do it. If not, it ain't gonna. You're gonna be disappointed every time because you're gonna always be putting in more. So, but that was it. That was the last one. I am saving this live. I will save this live, and if you're on Instagram, you should be able to see it on the YouTube. I appreciate everybody for hopping on. I'm definitely going to do the YouTube lives more because I don't particularly hop on YouTube more, and I need to, y'all. I got to build my YouTube audience. I need to monetize my channel. You know what I'm saying? Because if I want to give y'all this the way I want to give y'all this, I got to increase my income. I got to bring in more with this. So I have to expand and, utilize these platforms, just as much as, I have to use them as well. This is the means of connecting with your audience, connecting with who's out there. So you just got to maintain a balance for yourself. And me personally, that's what I struggle with. I struggle with the balance too. So y'all ain't by yourself. I struggle with the balance of maintaining what I'm trying to be, just doing what I want to do because I love it and because I want to do it. But hey, I can't be oblivious to the fact that we got to pay bills. So, but y'all be on the lookout for that next book. I will update y'all on it. I don't have a release date yet. So once I pretty much know when I'm gonna put that out there, then I got y'all on it. But over the next 2 months, just be on the lookout for an update about it. So that concludes everything. I appreciate everybody for hopping on. I'm getting hot in this little room. So appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace.